Hey guys, Durante here, back to you with the Expert Process vlog, video podcast. So I wanted to share another idea with you guys, and that is reprogramming your mind. I'll say that again, reprogramming your mind. Now you might ask, well, what does that mean? In the simplest of terms, it just means that we have to change the way we think. There are some things that are inherent to how we may think about life, our personal dealings, our business dealings. Some of those things are what you call environmentally based. Maybe we're influenced by our upbringing, our parents, grandparents, our ethnicity, our church, our culture. Those are some things that we may or may not have influence over, but the other things we can have influence over, which have a direct and meaningful impact on our lives. So when I think about changing the way we think or reprogramming our minds, the very first thing I think about is how we've all been conditioned and programmed since we, really honestly from birth, but since we were little. And we are conditioned this way. It's basically what makes society tick. It's what makes society work. We're all taught to essentially conform, to fall in line, to follow a leader, to go by a system, to go by, what seems to work or what others tell us to do. And by and large, for most people that may work, because what it does, it gives you stability, right? There are very few people that can essentially make that move or make those moves without instruction, without the direction from someone else. There are people that want to do that want to be on their own, that want to do their own thing, but they don't really have the wherewithal or the knowledge or know-how to do that, right? And so essentially what I'm saying is that when you reprogram your mind, you also understand, right? The funniest thing, if you think about what they call television programming, what is that? It just simply means that it is programming. That is something that is designed to get a specific response, right? So when they program your mind, when they program the television, when they program the stations, when they program the shows that you watch, it's very specific to get an end result, right? Additionally, when you think about television programming, what you come to learn, if you don't know already, is much of it is influenced by marketing dollars. So in other words, the television program that you watch or the show that you watch has a certain dollar value to advertisers or marketers, right? And so those are the sorts of things that make shows disappear, that go off air, or others last longer simply because of their marketing dollar value, right? So those are the things that most of us don't know, to be frank with you, but also it's a thing of where, we have, I think once you come to learn about what this whole thing is about, right? And you come to learn about what programming is and how programming affects your life and what we do, you also learn that we've been programmed really all throughout school, all throughout our education, because our education is built to help us maintain and stay within a system. It's not really designed to help you exist or manage or succeed outside of the system, and which is why nowadays you see more than ever folks are they're trying to find their own reality, right? They're trying to find their own sense of self, their own sense of being, right? And their own individual style or their own individual existence, I guess you could say, really, outside of the system, outside of the norm, which then unfortunately makes you sort of a target, because I found most people are a bit intimidated by folks that have that sort of, that sort of consciousness, if you will. You could say woke, or you could say awoke, or wokeness. But whenever you have that sort of consciousness about you, typically you put other people you make other people uneasy, right? You make these folks uncomfortable with, with what you're about, when in reality, you may only want the best for others. And so there's, it's a kind of a delicate balance as to how you go about doing that. But the understanding that if we can change our mindset when it comes to programming and how we've been programmed, which is difficult. That's not an easy thing to do. So let's put that in perspective. It's like I explained to my daughter, right? So we go shopping and I'll explain to her about a pair of shoes that she may like. So let's use Nike and let's use Skechers, right? A pair of Nikes might be 250 bucks. A pair of Skechers might be 40 bucks. It's the same shoe. It's not the same shoe as far as branding, right? But it's the same material. All of it is made out of leather and rubber and, whatever else, right? It's the same, essentially it's the same thing. The only difference is the brand. You're paying for the brand. You're paying for all of that marketing that they spent to give you that brand awareness. That's really it. It's the same with a car. One car is really no different or better than the other. Maybe they have, different features or something like that. It may have a bigger engine or stronger engine. And in those cases, I can justify the spend. But if you take a Hyundai Santa Fe and a Lexus RX 370 or something like that, I don't know if that's a real car, but and you were to strip away the name, the logo, the branding on the car, essentially the car is the same. Again, one may have a few more features than the other, but the irony is they may have actually the same motor. They have pretty much the same tires, same interior. The only thing you're paying for is really the brand name, right? And unfortunately, we get caught up in that more than anything else. The thing I try to explain to my daughter and other folks, really, if they're trying to improve their lives, is the funniest thing is that's not an asset. Your car is not an asset. Your car is really nothing more than a liability. Your shoes that you spent 250 bucks on, $300, $500, $1,000 on, your handbag that you spent $1,500 on, those things are not assets. You think they're assets, but as soon as you purchase it and walk out the door, it's worth 30% less than it was 22 minutes ago, right? That's why you can look at any luxury car, I don't care what it is, any luxury car, and take that same luxury car and look at it from, let's say 6 years ago, or let's say a 10-year-old luxury car, right? This is 2020, and you want to purchase a 2010 Mercedes C-Class, right? Well, that 2020 Mercedes C-Class is going to cost you $44,000. That 2010 Mercedes C-Class is going to cost you $13,000. You see, that's what depreciation is. That's how it affects you. Now, for you bought that car brand new, and over 10 years, not only did you pay the $40,000, but you also paid the interest. You also paid the higher insurance, right? Now think about all the money that you lost. That's why your car is not an asset. That's why it is a liability, right? Assets are purchasing a home. Assets are purchasing life insurance, right? Let's talk real, life insurance. Assets are, 401ks and Roth IRAs and, things like that, right? Assets are things that are tangible, that either see a growth in your return on your money, or they retain their value. Those are assets, right? So we have to change our way of thinking, and the sooner that we can do that, the better off we are as folks that want to improve our lives, improve our livelihoods, and see that we have greater success. And in the business realm, it's the same thing. We have to come to learn that we have to change our way of thinking. We have to change how we are programmed in thinking about business, right? Everything does not need to be done with cash. A cash-based business is really not the optimal way about going about doing it. What you want to do is learn what a Dun & Bradstreet number is. Learn what credit is. How do you get business credit? How does your personal credit affect your business credit? How can you go out and secure lines of credit with banks, with credit unions and things like that, right? Because once you have lines of credit secured, what you have is security for your business. That means that you're able to run and operate your business even when you don't necessarily have money coming in, because you have what's called cash flow, right? And that's what any and every true business owner knows and understands, is cash flow is what makes the world go round in the realm of business. And so these are these things I want to share with you and try to help you understand, so that it's not, you know, it's not unknown to you. It's not an unknown. It's not something that's just, you know, far out there. It's a far out there idea, and how you can become a better business person. Just some ideas. If you like this, share it. Go down, like and click and subscribe to the podcast or to the vlog. You can check us out on basically anywhere on social media at The Expert Process, and certainly go check out the website, theexpertprocess.com. Hey, thanks guys. I'm out.